April's been a pretty crazy month with everything going on, basically the end of the world, but I still picked up some movies, so let's just talk about them. One of the new releases I got was VFW. This is one of my favorite films of 2020, and I've already done a review of it, so I'm not going to talk about it too much here. It's a really fun, true-to-nature grindhouse flick that has some really well-written characters in it, some really great gore side effects, and it never really skims on the violence. Really, it's pretty over the top, but it's not as crazy as some other films in the grindhouse genre, and definitely seems like it'd be a good entry point for that style. Overall, I thought VFW was a lot of fun. It's one of my favorite films of the year. Another new release I got was Guns Akimbo. This is a film I was really excited for, and I really enjoyed it. I already did a review of this as well, so go check that out. I'm not going to talk about too much here, but it's a really fun, crazy Gonzo-style film with a really good performance by Daniel Radcliffe, and honestly, Samara Weaving, probably becoming one of my favorite actresses working right now, does a great job as well. It's a premise that's wild in concept, and I was a little afraid they wouldn't go full in on it, but they totally did, and it totally pays off. It's a really fun party flick that just has a lot of rewatchability, and it's a great film to just chow down some popcorn to. So I finally picked up King Arthur and the Legend of the Sword. This is one of my favorite films of 2017. I've not really had a good reason not to pick it up at this point, but I found it for $5 in the Walmart Blu-ray bin. Probably not an area you should be digging around in during this time, but I decided to grab it, and I'm glad I finally own it. Like I said, this is one of my favorite films of 2017, and I know I'm in a minority of saying that I really love this film, but to me this was just a really epic fantasy style flick that took a different spin on the King Arthur story, thanks to Guy Ritchie's style kind of bleeding through this film. Charlie Hunnam and Jude Law are both really good in their retrospective roles, but they add such a fantasy element to this film that really did make it feel unique and fresh. Like I said, it was one of my favorites of 2017, and I honestly really want to revisit here soon. I got the movie about the large burr, and it's okay. Grizzly honestly is just kind of a product of his time. It's an old 70s kind of cheap thrown together horror film that's about a giant monster animal that just attacks people, and that's pretty much the entire story. It's got some really fun moments, it's got some really bad moments, and overall it's just kind of a down the middle of the road kind of movie, but it's still one that's kind of fun enough to watch here and there, and it's definitely one that's kind of fun enough to throw on during a party. I was lucky enough to grab this with a buddy during the Kino Lorber sale. I didn't want to pay for shipping. He already was going to be over for shipping, so he tacked on Grizzly for me, and I got to pay $8 for it rather than the $30 it is on Amazon, so I'm very thankful for that. It has some really cool irreversible artwork on the inside of the packaging, but yeah, it's just a movie about a large bear attacking people, and it's okay. I ordered some stuff from Severin this month mainly because I wanted to get When the Wind Blows. This is a movie that's been on my radar for a little while, and then I saw Severin was announcing a re-release of it, and I jumped all over it. I wanted to see this film for a little while, and I'm glad I finally did because this film is terrific. The animation is absolutely beautiful. It looks like they kind of did a blend of clay animation and 2D animation, and it makes the film look really unique and really stunning at the same time. The two main characters are incredibly well written and so cute and sweet, and when you watch what they have to go through, it is some of the most depressing shit I've seen in a movie in a long time. This is a brutal and stark look at a nuclear war with two great characters that kind of serve for either a person who is either overreacting or underreacting, and how those two kind of people and parties collide a few times, and it's just a really great movie overall. It's a really quick watch, and it's really impactful, and I would highly recommend it. Another end-of-the-world movie I picked up was Threads. This is another just completely devastating film through and through. This is a lot more realistic when it kind of comes to the point of When the Wind Blows. This kind of plays off more as like a pseudo-documentary, which kind of took me out of the experience a little bit. The whole film starts off as a narrative, then kind of halfway through when the, bomb drops, it kind of turns into more of like a almost fictional documentary style, and it kind of took me out of the experience, but then you get back into it, and it's just a bleak, brutal trug through this ashy, muddy grossness. Like, this is not a film you're gonna watch to enjoy yourself with. This is gonna be a film that you just want to, decimate yourself with, and it has probably the most bleakest outlook on life. It's cool because this was kind of a big deal when it was released on TV, and as for a movie that was made on TV, it looks tremendously good. A lot of the visual effects are pretty solid, the cinematography is pretty good, and the performances are pretty great across the board as well. This one definitely doesn't seem as rewatchable as something like When the Wind Blows, even though that film is nowhere near joyful, but this one is just as soul-crushing, but I don't think it's as good as When the Wind Blows, but they're both really great films if you just want to feel bad. We also got Emanuelle and the Last Cannibals. I say we because this is technically Autumn's pick from the Severin order that we placed this month. And I had to cover the slipcase because of titties. Honestly, this is a really dirty, sleazy, sexploitation cannibal flick that's basically a softcore porno with a bunch of cannibals at the end. The whole film is basically about Emanuelle as a photojournalist heading into the Amazon to find a cannibal tribe. There's a lot of sex along the way, and then guess what? The cannibals want to eat them. It's honestly a pretty fun flick that has some really cheesy moments and some really laughable moments. Honestly, the score to the film with the title track slaps. The music in this film is really good. I'm really thankful that it comes with the audio CD of the soundtrack because it's pretty good. Probably my favorite part of the film. There are some decent gore effects in this film, surprisingly. Some of the gore effects look pretty legit, but god damn, there's a lot of bush. And the last thing I got from Severin was another Black Emanuelle movie, and that is Violence in a Women's Prison. Autumn was kind of torn between this and The Last Cannibals, so we just got them both. And I haven't got around to watching this one yet, but after watching Emanuelle, Last Cannibals, I have a little bit more of a better idea what I'm getting myself in for. There's a lot of these Black Emanuelle movies. Horrible Reviews did a awesome breakdown of them, and I definitely want to check out a few more of them. I don't know if I want to try to get them all, but now I have 2 of them, so I definitely want to at least try to get a couple more to see whether or not the series is going to be something I really am going to enjoy or not. I did like Last Cannibals overall, so I'm curious about how Violence in a Women's Prison will be. We ended up grabbing some TV shows as well, and one of those is the second season of Titans. Honestly, I was really surprised with the first season of how much I enjoyed it, and I'm really not digging the second season that well. Yes, there are some moments in the second season so far I've not finished it that I've been enjoying, but it definitely feels like season 2 has a lot more filler content in it than season 1 did. The overall direction and the introduction of Deathstroke is probably the driving force of season 2. I just kind of wish they would knock it off with the filler episodes, but it's not bad. I definitely don't think it's the strongest season 1, but I would continue on with season 3 so far. I have about 5 episodes left of season 2, I think. So we'll see how it ends. I definitely will be a lookout for season 3, but this is definitely not as good as season 1. I also ended up picking up Doom Patrol. This was the series I was interested in before I got Titans, and after watching season 1 of Titans and seeing the Doom Patrol episode, made me a lot more interested in Doom Patrol. I've yet to start it because I'm waiting to finish season 2 of Titans first, but I'm really excited. There seems to be a lot of potential in this series. People seem to really enjoy it, so we'll see. It definitely looks really good. It definitely has a decent cast, and if it's anything like the episode from season 1, I think it's going to be pretty good. One of the last things I got, and the only thing on DVD I got, was Infinity Train Book 1, or Season 1. This was a show I've been pretty interested in ever since Cartoon Network released, I think it was like the first episode or short film or promo or whatever they released on YouTube of this show. I watched it, really enjoyed the concept of it, so I've been kind of looking forward to it. And I was walking around Walmart and saw it just sitting on a shelf, and I thought, I completely forgot about this. I bought it, brought it home, which Cartoon Network, please release stuff on Blu-ray. This, Over the Garden Wall, everything they do, they will not release it on Blu-ray for some reason. But I really loved Infinity Train Season 1. Honestly, it's probably one of the best cartoon series I've seen in a long time. The animation is beautiful and stunning. The overall theme and concept for this series is great. I have a lot of good humor elements built into it thanks to some of the side characters, and the series handles some really heavy themes and does it very maturely. And there's a bunch of stuff happening in the series. It's one of those series you could probably break down every episode and kind of find little things here in the background that foreshadow. There's never a moment where they like spoon feed you any kind of information in this series. The more you watch it, the more you pay attention to it, the more you're going to get out of it. It's really, really well written and really, really well directed. Now, I did watch season 2. I plan on hopefully buying it whenever it comes out, and I definitely don't think season 2 was as strong as season 1, but as season 2 moved along, I feel like it got its footing and it was really good as well. But season 1 to me is just phenomenal. But anyway, that's been my Blu-ray DVD update, collection update. I hope you guys are staying safe, and I'll see you next month probably. Peace.